Save the Semantics, episode 139. It is March 21st, 2021. My name is Myro. This is the podcast where I ramble on for about however long I want, but usually it's 20 minutes, sometimes a little more if I'm feeling hot and I feel like I got some shit to talk about, but usually 20 minutes. 20 minutes is enough time to recap my life or whatever in the past week or so. March 21st. Not really sure. The date doesn't really have that much significance. I wanted to go out and record, but as always, I don't feel like that was the best choice. Just because it's not super quiet. So I'm probably going to move around quite a bit. So it might be a little annoying, but it's nice out today. Considering everything. So I kind of wanted to just go out and record. It's been a long week for sure. I'm surprised that I was even able to really motivate myself to record something, but this past week has been quite a grind. I worked 60 hours this week, which is kind of fucking insane. Just kind of comes with the job, I guess. But yeah, Jesus Christ, man, fuck. I'm tired, to say the least. I'm happy that I don't have to commute at the moment, because I don't know how in the hell I would be able to handle that. So, again, just kind of a silver lining during this period of time. I'm glad that I don't have to drive for like an hour to work and drive an hour back. Like, I just don't know how I would have the energy to do anything, honestly. That takes up so much of your day. Fuck, dude. I feel bad for people that have had to commute, you know? I don't know. I'm kind of, at the moment right now, I'm leaning towards, if it is possible, like, I would like to just kind of continue working in this environment. It's kind of there has to sort of be a balance, I feel, and it's kind of hard to do that right now, obviously, balancing, work and life and all that shit. These are all things that have been talked to death this last year, but now it's kind of applicable to me, so I can kind of speak on it. But I think, at this moment, just kind of working from home works a little better for me, just because I don't have to. If I don't have to commute, it gives me a lot of time to do other things, like studying and that sort of thing. And I still kind of, that's another thing that I gotta work on. So, it's I don't know, but it's also kind of the counter argument to that is being in person and, having those interactions and that sort of thing. I miss that for sure. It's hard to kind of keep yourself motivated in your own kind of space by yourself, but the pros of that, again, are just having, that time to yourself, and also being able to kind of, I don't know, I've sort of acclimated to, or have kind of adjusted to working in this current state. But I don't know, there's obviously there's pros and cons to each. It's kind of it's difficult to gauge, but at this moment I think I'm doing all right with my current setup. So hopefully it stays that way, at least for a little bit. But I think things are gonna change eventually. I'll just have to kind of keep my eyes peeled. But I'm pretty pooped. I'm not gonna lie. So if I'm low energy, I apologize for that. I just wanted to kind of get out something, and just even when I'm like away from work, I'm thinking about work, man. I'm trying today is my day off, and I'm trying my best to just get away from that, but I'm still talking about it. Because I mean there hasn't really been a whole lot else that's really been going on, so it's kind of hard to avoid that. But I in my downtime, I've just been relaxing to the best of my abilities. I've been trying to it's yeah, I really haven't committed to like a show as always, just because it's too it's too much of a commitment for me, at least, at this moment. So it's really just been like YouTube and Twitch. And I've commented about this in the past, but it really is like, it's sort of like and I think maybe some other people can kind of attest to this, but it is really very much like TV for me, where I can just kind of go on and see what's up. And it's just kind of casual viewing, and you don't really have to be super engaged or anything like that. And there's, of course, there's a myriad of options and that sort of thing, similar to all the other like streaming services with like Twitch and YouTube. But I feel that it's just easier to just kind of go on there and just watch something without really having too much of an attachment or having to really pay that much attention. Just kind of have it in the background as just something on, I guess, which is kind of nice. I just need that to like relax, especially just like a long ass day of work. So that's what I've been doing, really. And yeah, I think I'm trying my best to sort of limit my use of just, I don't know, anything involving the computer, just because I am like on it all the time. So but it's kind of hard. It's hard when you're just so accustomed to watching everything from your computer or your phone. It's just kind of hard to avoid. I've managed to kind of stay away from TikTok for the most part, because I know that shit will be addicting. I just know that I would just fall into these fucking rabbit holes and stuff like that. And I'm sure I've seen, a decent amount of TikTok reposts from on like Reddit or YouTube or whatever. And there's some funny shit on there, man. There's some good shit. And I'm sure I'm missing out on something, and there's always the possibility that there's going to be like one short clip that would make my day, but it's just not worth just the constant scrolling through shit. I just know that that would probably happen if I do download it, so I've kind of avoided that for the time being. I've completely stopped using Instagram. I don't know if I've probably mentioned that on a previous episode, but yeah, I've completely stopped using Instagram. I think that's I don't know how much that's really been beneficial, but I think just the time spent there was just not worth of any time. I just wasn't enjoying myself at all on there. Like I said before, it was really mainly for memes and like occasionally keeping up with friends, but it just wasn't really I don't know, it just didn't give me any like satisfaction being on there, so I kind of stopped using it. I'm on and off on Reddit. Like there's not really I'm not very consistent on using it. Like sometimes I'll delete it, then I'll just re-download it again just to have something to use. It's hard to get away from your phone, especially when you just have pretty much everything on there. I've seen a couple of videos on my YouTube that have popped up about like what is it, detoxify or something like that, where people have just kind of quit social media, which is kind of ironic because YouTube is in itself a social media, but I understand the point of that. Of just kind of taking a lot it just takes a lot from you. Even with the YouTube, I think it's pretty easy to just get stuck on there and just kind of endlessly like click through videos and that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's been an interesting time for sure. I say that every episode, I feel like, but I don't know. It's I'm always just reminiscing about shit, just because I think that's kind of what this has become. But I'm trying to reflect back on how I was maybe a few years ago, or maybe when I was like 18 or something like that. And I'm like trying to think. I don't know why I always keep doing this, but I keep thinking about how much I've actually changed over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. And it's hard to really gauge or quantify. I don't know. I think actually listening back to these episodes might give me some sort of insight. I really don't know though. I haven't really listened back that recently. I did a few, I don't know how long ago it was, but I did listen back on an older episode, maybe, I don't know, a few months ago maybe, but I don't know how much that really, I don't know how indicative it is of the change or the progression that I've made as a person or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. But it could be interesting. There's just so much sifting through this is going to be quite a ordeal. It could be like an interesting little thing though, just kind of compiling all of this into one giant file. It's going to be huge if I do. But because what? So 139 episodes of just me speaking, and each of them are about 20 minutes long, so it's quite a lot. I'm not doing the math in my head because I don't have the brain power, but it's got to be quite a lot of hours of me just talking. So maybe one day in the future I'll look back and just kind of pick up bits and pieces from episodes that I feel like were kind of interesting. Maybe I have something, I don't know, I said something that was kind of like, give you a little insight of what was going through my head at that time, or what I was feeling. You can probably tell, you can kind of tell what, just with the dates and my attitude during an episode, how I'm, you can kind of tell where I was during that period of time. I mean, obviously, I'll speak on what was going on currently when I recorded, but I think you can just kind of sort of tell based on my demeanor and everything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. That could be an interesting little project. I've seen, there's those videos of people that have taken pictures of themselves over the years, and you can, you see their progression into adulthood. So maybe this could be something similar, but it's not, I didn't really start doing this until I was like 19 or 20. I need to check when I first recorded. I don't even remember when, because I didn't really start doing like the date thing until a little later down the line. I don't think it was like the first few episodes I did those, but I need to check. Could be interesting. Anyways, yeah, not a whole lot to really say. I'm just kind of blabbering at this point, but I do want to comment on how nice of a day it is today. It is. It's actually really, really calm and really chill. I walked over by this little river here. Didn't get too close because the mic might pick up the sound, but yeah, it's a nice day to record an episode of me saying absolutely nothing of importance. I have not progressed a whole lot in my life. I'm hoping that the vaccine rollouts sound like they're going pretty well. So that's something to look forward to. I'm most likely going to be one of the last people to get vaccinated just because I don't fit in any of the other groups. I'm not really considered an essential worker, obviously, and I don't work in a position where I have to interact with people on a daily basis. So, yeah, I don't think this might be a little while, which sucks, but I'm hopeful that, and I'm happy that it looks like things are going well for the most part. Obviously, there's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be a completely straight shot to the finish line with everyone getting vaccinated and that sort of thing. But I think things are looking up. I'm excited to see my friends again. That's like a big thing, and be able to kind of do just shit again, sort of. I don't think, even if I do get vaccinated, I don't think it's really going to change my behavior. I'm gonna be in that group of people that sort of kind of have kept the same routine as they have had for the past year or so, where I don't really, I'm gonna keep to myself. I'm not gonna go out and party like crazy. I think I'm still gonna be erring on the side of caution, just because that's just kind of how I am. I'm always sort of, I've always been kind of a skeptic and maybe a little paranoid, but that's just sort of my way of going about things, and I think it's gonna keep that way at least for a little while. I'm not gonna go buck wild anytime soon, even though a part of me would like to. A part of me would like to kind of do something like that. I've never been that type of person to really do anything super spontaneous. And when I do, it's very rare and occasional. It just really depends on the people I'm with, or obviously the mood I'm in. But yeah, it doesn't happen super often. And I could never be the spontaneous type of person, because I need to plan shit out. It's hard for me to think up. It's like, oh yeah, let's just do this thing out of the blue. I can't do that for some reason. It's difficult for me to do that, because I think I overthink, and I don't know. It's hard for me to maybe enjoy myself if I do it on my own, is the thing. I think if someone else was holding the reins, then I'm a little more willing to kind of go along with it, but I'm usually not the person to kind of spur that moment. Usually I'm like held back, right? Like I like to plan shit out and see where it kind of takes us. But yeah, it's hard for me to just kind of be like, yeah, let me just go. I'm just gonna go out and I'm just gonna do stuff. Like I remember, and I might have talked about this a little while back, but I remember this might have been last year. I mean, obviously last year was not really. At this point, it's been a couple of years, maybe a year and a half or so. I had one day where I just had a day off, and I had a lot of time to myself, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do something. Let's just go out and shit. It's a really nice day, similar to how it is today. And then I just went out, and like I drove around, and I just didn't know like what the fuck I wanted to do. It was so weird. It was such a weird, like, it wasn't anything crazy. I wasn't like delusional or anything like that. I just could not, for the life of me. I was so indecisive. I felt like Chidi from The Good Place, where I just couldn't make my mind up on what the fuck I wanted to do, and I ended up just being miserable because I didn't do anything. I just was fucking driving around just aimlessly and not wanting to like go anywhere, or not having the ability to pick a place to get food or anything like that. I was just fucking just driving around nowhere, and it was just kind of shitty. And then the day was done, and I felt like I didn't do anything. So I like to kind of plan certain things in advance. Even when going out and getting food. Like today, I went out. I wanted to get lunch, and so I had to like sort of plan that in advance, right? I was thinking about doing the thing I wanted to do today. Yesterday, I sort of set up on my phone, order food, right? And then order food from this specific Indian place. And then I went and got food. Like, I have to do that sometimes. Or at least I have to do that right now. That's just sort of how I operate. And I don't know. It's, I'm just not a very spontaneous person. And it's hard for me to kind of go with the flow sort of thing. Like, it just really depends on my mood and the people that are there and that sort of thing. It's hard for me to do that kind of thing by myself. So yeah. But I'm still kind of completely blanked on what I was going to say there. But obviously I'm a very kind of cautious person and everything like that, and I don't really take risks too much. But there are still things that I kind of want to do in terms of stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that I haven't done before. This is again another thing that I've spoken about before, but I just want to kind of do something that I haven't done before, because I feel that at least in the last, even in college, I was very much stuck to my principles or whatever, or stuck to my goal of graduating with a degree, and now I've been able to do that, which I'm happy about, of course, and I've been able to obtain a job, and I'm grateful for that, and so far things have been pretty good. Of course, the job is hard, but I'm happy with where I'm at currently, and things, despite all the shit that's been thrown, my way, or just kind of, peripherally, like I've been able to kind of stay course and have been able to do the things that I've kind of set out to do, which I'm happy about, and I take a little pride in that. I'm usually not a very prideful person, but I'm happy that I've been able to kind of stick with that. But in this sort of set of time that I've been, there hasn't really been too many deviations from what I've sort of set out to do, which has been good, right? It's been good for me because I like having order. I like knowing what to expect, and I like, having sort of a list or set of objectives that I need to complete in order to get to the next place in my life or next place in my career or whatever. I like having that type of organization and stuff like that. But it's also, I also want some random element, hopefully something that doesn't fuck up my shit, but like I want something that gives me a little more, I don't know, gives me a little more fulfillment in a sense. Something it's a little different from what I've been doing for the last 4 years, right? Just something different. And so I'm like, I don't know in what form that random element comes in, but I'm just like, or a hobby. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I want something to kind of add to my life that is different from what I currently have. I just need something. I just need something to supplement what I currently have, to kind of give me something to work with, right? I think a lot of people sort of feel, I'm sure, I always say that, but I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that I'm sure other people feel similarly in the sense that they want something that is kind of different from the normalcy of a regular full-time job, right? So that's kind of that's another sort of thing that I've kind of been, thinking about quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I just it would be nice to kind of have something else to do. I mean, I have this podcast at the moment. I'm just trying to think, and I talked about this last episode of trying to think about expanding into different hobbies. I just don't have the energy right now. It's hard for me to kind of be super motivated, but I think once things kind of progress a little bit in my life, I would like to kind of try something out. I don't know what exactly. Again, this is all very vague, and this is all kind of really baseless. There's not really a specific thing that I have in mind, but I would like to try a new sort of hobby or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I think it could lend itself a little bit to, it could be a nice supplement to what I have right now. Just so I have something to do and something to maybe even talk about, I guess. So, yeah, just goals and aspirations and all that shit. It's just gonna be every episode from now on, pretty much. Hard to get away from that, but again, I'm hopeful. I'm looking forward to the next period of time, however long that's going to be, maybe in the next few months or so, and how things progress and whether they, quote unquote, go back to normal, or if, I'm able to kind of revert back to how I was before in the sense that I, had sort of a healthy social life and everything like that. We'll see. But, it's about keeping your head up in a sense. So we're going to leave it off at that. This has been, God damn, I can't fucking talk. I'm going to just end it right here. This has been Save the Semantics, signing off.